Hello everybody, and today we'll be discussing Percy Jackson and the Olympians Book 2, The Sea of Monsters by Rick Riordan. Basically continues on with Percy's journey from the first book. He has to rescue Grover, who has gotten himself into some kind of deep trouble. And on the way, he also has to help save Camp Half-Blood, which is in danger of being overrun by monsters after someone poisons Thalia's tree. About the movie, I went in to see Monsters completely blind to pretty much everything that happened. But I've been watching the movie like continuously since it came out, and I'm happy to say that it was a better book to movie adaptation than The Lightning Thief, but there are a few changes that they made that kind of upset me. But there were other changes that they made that I found was necessary for a movie. Well, that is it for the non-spoilery section. If you have not read the first two books or seen the first two movies, please do not continue watching this video because you're going to be spoiled. The first thing I want to talk about is Tyson. We start at the book of Percy being in his new school, and he has a friend named Tyson. Well, since I've seen the movie, I already knew who Tyson was, but I completely forgot about him and Percy knowing each other like almost a full year before he actually goes to Camp Half-Blood. And it also gave us first-hand experience on what Cyclopses can do. Like they are fireproof. They have like super strength. Cyclopses can also smell monsters that are nearby. They can also hear from very far away and like mimic people's voices, which we find out later is also what a Cyclops did to Annabeth, Thalia, Grover, and Luke when they were trying to get to Camp Half-Blood. And that was one of the differences in the movies that I didn't really like, but I saw as necessary, was the fact that a Cyclops didn't really kill Thalia. It was just, he was, I guess, the cause. He didn't physically kill her, but he was the cause, because the rest of the monsters had plenty of time to catch up with them after that. I get to Camp Half-Blood, and there are bulls attacking. It's like we're gonna start camp every year with a bullfight. And this is also when we find out that the camp is in danger because Thalia's tree has been poisoned, and Chiron has been exiled because the gods think he did it, which we find out later that Chiron's father is Kronos, and that's why they think that, which I guess would be a good reason to think that Chiron could have been behind poisoning the tree. That was one of the things that I didn't understand from the movie, is they still had Chiron there. It's like, why couldn't they have put in that guy Tanturus? I cannot say the guy's name, but I hated his guts, especially after the chariot race. But he got what he deserved in the end. He finally caught this stupid cheeseburger he's been chasing, and gets sent back to the underworld before he can even get a bite. So he got what was coming to him. And then we find out that Grover can connect himself with other people through an empathy link. I'm not sure if you can do it with more than one person or not, but he did it with Percy, and if Grover dies, Percy dies. So it's like a race to find Grover before he gets eaten or married off to Polyphemus, which I have to say is really, really disturbing, just thinking of Grover marrying anybody. But Polyphemus apparently doesn't have good taste in women, because he thought Grover was a woman, and then he wanted to marry Clarice. It's like, I know you're blind and a Cyclops, but really? I did start to like Clarice in the end, but she's so freaking stupid. While she's almost about to be boiled by Polyphemus, she's telling him that that isn't a woman's Cyclops, that's Grover in a wedding dress. And it's like, why would you tell him? Grover may be able to get you out of this situation. He's even trying to get you out of this. Why are you giving away his secret that's the only thing keeping him alive? And then, when they are escaping, she taunts Polyphemus, and he's like throwing boulders towards sound because he can't see, so obviously he's going to be throwing boulders at her big mouth. We meet Hermes for the first time, and I love Hermes and George and Martha. George and Martha were very, very funny. Hermes is the most relaxed Olympian god up to this point, and he seems more real. Maybe that's because he has to deal with mortals as well as the Olympian gods. I hope we get to see a lot more of him throughout the series, because even though Hades is still my favorite god, I think Hermes has moved up to number 2. Especially after Poseidon sends that letter to Percy that just says, brace yourself. And this made me think, did Poseidon know that Thalia was going to come back to life after the fleece healed the tree? I mean, did he? Because why else would he say brace yourself? I mean, was he talking about Tyson leaving camp to go work in the Cyclops forges? I don't think so. And then it comes to light at the end that was Kronos' plan all along, was to bring back Thalia. So bringing Thalia back gives Kronos another chance to have the half-blood from the prophecy. And oh my goodness, Annabeth trying to spell Cyclops. Percy, we're going to Polyphemus' island. Polyphemus is an S-I-K-A-C-Y-K. As smart as she was, Annabeth was dyslexic too. We could have been here all night while she tried to spell Cyclops. I really enjoy that, and I just love how that shows that Annabeth is dyslexic too. She has the same problems that Percy and every other half-blood has. Because sometimes I forget, because she's so intelligent, that she actually has the same problems as the entering of the Sea of Monsters when they're fighting Charybdis. That was probably one of the most weirdest things that I've ever read, where Charybdis actually has braces. And Percy saying she must have been an orthodontist nightmare because she obviously never brushed and her teeth were all crooked. The Sea of Monsters movie, they have Charybdis as like these giant teeth coming out of the water, and it's just like a hole in the middle, which is what I envisioned Charybdis looking like. Not just a mouth underwater with braces. It was so freaking funny. And that's what you have to realize about Rick Riordan's books, that he finds humor in everything. And that was just, oh my god, so funny. And then after they escape Charybdis, the ship blows up. Percy just happens to be whipped around by the winds that Annabeth released. And I don't know how he actually ends up in Annabeth's ship when he was going down to the middle of the ocean. I'm guessing that maybe Annabeth dived in after him, or maybe his dad saved him. I don't know. But all this time we have no clue what's happened to Clarice, which I don't really think anybody actually thought about her until they actually saw her with Polyphemus. And then Tyson, we all believe he is dead, which like I said, I've seen the movie like a billion times, so I knew he was going to live. But I didn't like how they killed him off in the movie and then brought him back to life or whatever, but the water heals him. Because in the book, the water obviously wasn't healing Polyphemus after Percy injured his leg. So Cyclopses apparently do not heal with water like Percy does. So that was kind of irritating. But anyways, Tyson is fireproof, and when you think about it, the ship blowing up, there was several things that could have happened to kill him. So it's plausible to believe he's dead. But I loved it when he showed up at the last minute, threw a boulder in Polyphemus' mouth, saved the day. And it was just, Tyson, I love you so much more. Before we even get to Polyphemus' island, so much happens. The sirens and Circe is, I don't know if that's how you say her name, but Cece on that spa island where she turns Percy into a guinea pig. And I understand that she was influencing him with her magic or whatever, but it's like, really? Haven't you learned, Percy, to never, ever drink or eat anything that's been given to you by anyone who knows your name without being told? I mean, she knew Annabeth's name right from the get-go. And how Percy can control a ship. You learn a little bit more about Percy each book. It's like we find out that he has the power to breathe underwater, can will himself dry. The water pressure doesn't really affect him. He can control water. He can communicate with sea animals and horses, any kind of horses. This includes zebras. And then water heals him. That was all from the first book. The second book, you learn that he can navigate the sea, like an internal GPS is in his head when he's at sea, and apparently only works at sea. He can control ships, which is weird but cool at the same time. It's like he can apparently gather all the bubbles in the ocean and form like one giant bubble that he uses to keep Annabeth alive underwater. And then him and Tyson can communicate telepathically. And then we get to the very end, right after Percy sends off Clarice with the Golden Fleece to the airport. Luke shows up out of nowhere. It's like, how the hell did he even know that they were on Miami Beach? But I love how Percy got him back in the end by doing that little Iris message. Now everyone at camp knows how he is. Chiron has his job back. And Percy and Annabeth can now return to camp. And then lo and behold, Percy wants to have a one-on-one duel with Luke. And he's getting his ass kicked right when the party ponies show up. These centaurs. What the hell? They were so funny to read about. I mean, when you think of a centaur wielding a paintball gun and having a beer hat on, and then one shooting off arrows that has a boxing glove on the end and it's just hitting Luke in the face. I love that. And then we get to the end of the book where everyone is back at camp. Percy gets the letter from his father that says, brace yourself. And we have no clue what this letter is supposed to mean. And Percy's disappointed because he didn't want any recognition from anyone but his dad that he did a good job. Then the day after Percy gets his letter, we have the chariot races once again. I love at the end where Annabeth and Percy win thanks to Tyson's watch shield that he's made for Percy, which was so sweet. And then Annabeth kisses Percy on the cheek. Yay! It's a dream that same night, and Poseidon tells him to brace himself again. So we're going into this, okay, it's like it's gonna happen real soon. It's gonna happen in this book. And lo and behold, he wakes up. Something's happened to Annabeth. They're racing up the freaking hill to Thalia's tree where Annabeth had been guarding, and Thalia's alive. Those are all my thoughts and feelings for The Sea of Monsters. Let me know in the comments below what you guys' favorite moment was. I think if I had to choose a favorite moment out of this entire book, it probably would have been Percy and Annabeth at the bottom of the ocean in that little air bubble. And the fact that Percy knew the fish's intentions to spread rumors about them, that was just the icing on the cake. Until next time, guys. Bye!